Are you a business owner brushing up on your knowledge regarding NFTs? Do you have questions like, what would NFTs mean for my product or brand? What are the copyright implications of NFTs? Who owns the products bought from NFTs? And the like. But before anything else, what the heck are NFTs? Non-fungible tokens, NFTs, have been around since 2014, but they have only started gaining traction in the sectors of digital and digitally owned assets. Despite the almost decade-long history of this technical advancement, many people are still confused about what a non-fungible token is. Its name implies that it must be the inverse of a fungible token, but for individuals who are unfamiliar with tech lingo or non-traditional asset classifications, the enigma persists. Fungible tokens are cryptocurrencies, similar to Bitcoin, that have identical fractional values to one another, such as 4 quarters equaling $1 and 10 $1 notes equaling a $10 bill, making the money fungible or interchangeable. Non-fungible tokens, on the other hand, are not designed to have equal fractional values and instead represent unique and customized values, unlike cash. This peculiarity has influenced the public's impression of digital scarcity in the area of NFTs, which is something that almost everyone understands at its most fundamental level: supply and demand. Creation and purchase of individual NFTs. The minting process really involves creation of code on a blockchain network, example Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, EOS, and the like, that includes a unique ID to the digital asset with additional fields for ownership details. This means that anyone with access to one of these platforms has the capability to mint a new NFT. Minting an NFT is the process of converting a digital file into a crypto collectible or digital asset on the Ethereum blockchain. The digital object or file is permanently saved in this decentralized database or distributed ledger and cannot be edited, modified, or deleted. When a manufacturer mints a physical currency, the process of putting a specific item into the blockchain is known as minting. Once the NFT is created, the digital asset can be listed or otherwise offered for sale to buyers. Purchasers of NFTs must have digital wallets capable of receiving and storing such digital assets, the same way physical wallets are designed to hold traditional currencies, and can purchase NFTs on platforms such as OpenSea, Mintable, and Rarible, using cryptocurrencies, which are ultimately purchased via credit card payment. Tokens, both fungible and non-fungible, are created and stored using blockchain technology. With an expanding demand for minting of creative works, NFTs are also minted for works of music, gaming assets, and many sorts of videography. This development unavoidably raises difficulties about not only copyright ownership, but also ownership enforcement. How NFTs impact copyright owners. It is common knowledge that the sale of an NFT does not necessarily transfer to the purchaser the underlying copyright in the work that resides off-chain. When selling a tangible copy of almost any sort of creative work, the transfer of the underlying copyright is up to the artist or the most recent copyright owner. The creation of an NFT can be classified as a copy or even a derivative of the original work, a work based upon one or more earlier works, such as a art reproduction, or any other form in which a work may be recast, changed, or adapted. 17 U.S.C. 101. In other words, under U.S. copyright law, the copyright holder is and should be the only one with the power to change the original work into an NFT, without a license. Access to viewing NFTs on the different NFT platforms is public. Although this is useful for copyright owners, such as Corbin Rainbolt and Larva Labs, which was likely already actively involved on Foundation, in identifying potential unauthorized reproductions or derivative works, it does potentially add to a copyright owner's ever-growing list of platforms to monitor for such unauthorized works. These concerns reinforce the need of adopting and relying on essential enforcement mechanisms ranging from basic solutions like watermarks to the DMCA. As more copyright owners are required to police NFT platforms, the DMCA's Copyright Management Information (CMI) requirements, example 17 U.S.C. 1202, are expected to come into play. Although it remains to be seen what long-term influence NFTs will have on both local and international copyright rules, It appears that the traditional obstacles to copyright owners continue for the time being, albeit with some extra advantage. What about you? What are your thoughts on NFTs? Are there more positive effects than bad? Comment down below.